Welcome to Wednesday Wash.
Welcome to Wednesday Wash.
We definitely need to clean that up. Tully Adventurers Explore.
On Wednesdays, we spend our morning cleaning. Jennifer cleans the inside of our trailer, and I clean our truck. As a celebration of having clean living spaces, we play games and tell stories. If you pay attention, you may notice that Jennifer's stories are usually about face-to-face relating, while my stories are about shoulder-to-shoulder relating. Maybe this is generally how men and women each differently build relationships. What do you think? Let's play a game and start with Jennifer's story. So, first things first, what do you want to play?
I want to play regular cards.
You want to play regular cards. So, this is our RV. Right up there is some space where we have storage, so we keep cards up there, different games that we like to play, all of that good stuff. Someday, we're hoping that we're going to have enough cameras that you'll be able to, we'll show you all that's going on here. But for today, we're going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Why don't you shuffle for us first, and then we'll see what's going on.
All right.
Okay.
Making sure there's no jokers in there. Because one joker is enough.
Oh, she's got jokes, folks. She's got jokes.
All right. So, today's story, I was inspired to tell this story because Kirk came in after vacuuming the truck and said, "Hey, is there something I could clean the inside of the truck with?" And I said, "Oh yes." And I handed him some Tough Stuff, my favorite foam cleaner for inside a car. And I remembered,
And we do not have a sponsorship from them.
and I remembered that my dad taught me how to detail a car.
Wow.
When I turned 16, my parents gave me this beautiful little car that had been my dad's, 1971 MGB, and my dad had it all fixed up for me. It was black inside, black spoiler, cool exhaust. Not that I knew anything about that. It was painted white. Oh, I loved that thing. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Anyway, so my dad walked me through every step of detailing that car. We washed all the inside, we washed all the outside, we dressed the tires, we armor all the dash, we, 7, and a discard.
So we're
Laying them out?
laying them out, and this just keeps growing? Okay.
Yes.
So we'll put it over here a little closer to you guys so that we have enough space for our growing collection of wildness.
Anyway, so just every little nook and cranny of that car, he taught me how to clean. And there were certain products that we had for each step of the way. And I'm very grateful for that. It was good time to spend with my dad. For those of you that don't know our family, my family, my dad's very young compared to me. He's only 17 years older than me. And so the fact that he was around my whole childhood, he and my mom stayed married until about 5 or 6 years, maybe 6 years ago. Anyway, but just the fact that he was around was huge. I think a lot of dads would have dipped out, and I'm sure he had the opportunity to do that, but he didn't. So, anyway, thanks, Dad.
Nice. And it's your turn if you're ready. Thank you for sharing that story with us.
You're welcome.
How did having those skills or what you learned from that situation affect the rest of your life?
Good question. I think he taught me the idea that it was really important to take care of the things that you had. And just that time spent, you know, with your kids doesn't always have to be Disneyland. Time spent teaching them something is equally as important, and can still have great memories.
Interesting. Good.
Yep.
So they don't have your dad doesn't have to do the big things, but any time spent with you is helpful and important.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
Because my parents started out so young, they worked a lot. They were gone a lot working, and so any time I had to spend with them, I greatly appreciated.
Nice.
It's your turn. Oh, I haven't.
It's actually your turn. You need to put down a card.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Shoots. There you go.
That doesn't help me at all. And okay, there you go.
That doesn't help me at all. So there's that.
Interesting.
Your turn.
Wanted to try to see if I could get chat to run on here. I'm at least watching our stream, so that's kind of nice. Uh-oh. No! But not able to throw down with some chats. So that's a thing, I guess.
Alright.
Oh well. We'll hope and see that if whatever else works. Very cool. Anything else you want to tell us about that story?
I wasn't always great about keeping my car clean. I was a normal teenager. So, you know, he'd have to remind me often, you need to go wash your car. But I distinctly remember that time with him.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very cool story. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Welcome.
Always nice to get some stories and find out more about who you are and what parts of your life stand out to you and taught you to be certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
Grrr.
I shuffled really good.
I guess so, yeah. Definitely set us up for an interesting game this time. Ooh! Good lord. Just pulled a lot of cards. Oh no, you dropped an ace! It's worth a lot of points, folks. It's worth a lot of points. Okay. Just want to give a quick shout out to some of the people who are following us. Thank you, Salty TPR. Thank you, Von Regen. Thank you, Vesper Timar. AI Chess. I know that we also had Sinky Ship in here. We've had, oh man, was it Donnie Lucifer? I think so. And today, this morning in chat, we had a British Mick with us. And just grateful for all of you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being here. If I forgot you and you've been here, I'm so sorry, but just want to give that quick shout out. And if you're following, thank you so much. All right, it's my turn.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, come on. Oh, I don't like my options here.
Right?
Oh no! Yep, just giving you what you need as we proceed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, I don't think I have a good option here. Yep. Yup. Well, there you go. If that... Oh, no. Is that going to help you out?
No.
Okay.
Not even a little.
Well... Thanks for being here, folks. Hope you're having a good day. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so that's a fun one.
Get it.
There's 4, 5, 6. And I got all this to deal with. Okay. And we'll put that back down. Man. You really did shuffle, didn't you?
I did.
Set us up. All right, well, it's my turn to tell a story, so we'll see how that goes. My story is about a man named Bart. So growing up, my mom and dad got divorced when I was 2, and I didn't have a dad really growing up. But when I got to middle school, I didn't drop yet. Oh no! When I got to middle school, there was one of my mom's co-workers, and his name was Bart, and he took me. He took me mountain biking, and I had never been. I was fairly athletic. I was playing basketball at the time and things like that. So, but you know, when you start a new or different sport, man, it is. You don't have any of the muscle memory. You don't have any of the things that help you be able to do what you're trying to do. That'll go on to there. And so it can be difficult. But he took me out to this spot. He let me borrow a bike. It was a downhill bike, so it worked well. And so this one Saturday, he came and picked me up, took me out to this spot, told me a little bit about what we needed to do, and then off we went. We're going to throw that down. And we, rode our bikes up this hill, and we got to the top, and then enjoyed the way the place looked, drank a little bit of water, and he then told me, okay, here's how it works. As you're going downhill, use your back brake, not your front brake, as much as possible so that you don't fly over the front end of your bike. And I mean, this wasn't like incredibly steep or ridiculous, but I had some issues with riding bikes downhill, and that'll be a story for another day. But did you get done? Okay. Nice.
Get it.
But, well, there you go. But I was feeling pretty confident, especially because this guy believed in me. He thought that he could just give me, here's some simple directions, here's what to do, let's go for it. That really built my confidence. I felt respected. I felt like he believed that I could do it, which absolutely gave me the confidence to throw down. And so, man, we rode down that hill, and the back of the bike is sliding as I'm holding on, pulling the brake and letting it go. The back of the bike is sliding. Man, we're just having ourselves a time. And so, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I get scared going downhill, but it was just so exhilarating, and the back of the bike is sliding, and I'm just holding on and moving down, and a big rock comes, and I make my way around it, and it was just so cool. And so there we were, having ourselves a great time. We got done. We made it through, and I was just so happy about getting to enjoy this time with a guy who, showed me some respect, even though I was a young man. Made me feel like I was capable, even though I was a young man. And really grateful for that time. And then, he had his own family. He had a daughter. And so, sadly, and I've racked my brain about this. When we got done, he took me home and dropped me off, and we never went mountain biking again. And I was sad. Like, I don't know if he mentioned we could do this some other time, or if I said, hey, I'd love to do this again. I don't remember if any of that kind of conversation happened, but I sure wish it had, and I wish we could have gone again. And I don't know if, there was some falling out between him and my mom, or if there were some other issues going on. I have no idea what was happening. So I might not have done anything wrong, but man, it was really sweet to get on that bike, be strong enough to ride it all the way to the top of the hill, be crazy enough to, ride down and let it slide, but trust that I was going to be okay. And, it's exhilarating. Your breath gets going, all that good stuff. But I'm really glad I had that opportunity. It was one more time where I felt like, even though I didn't have a dad with me every day, there were these moments or these memories that I have with men who are willing to spend time with me, even though they weren't my dad, and invest in me and invest in my life, invest in my confidence. It was a really great memory that I have now, and I'm grateful for that. So, Bart, if you're out there, thank you so much for taking the time. And to all of us men, it's a great reminder: spend some time with younger people and invest in their lives. You never know what's going to happen. Your dad invested in your life, and so because of that, you have a level of confidence and belief in your ability. You have a skill. Bart invested in my life, and I didn't continue pursuing mountain biking. I didn't have a bike, any of that, but that confidence played out in so many other parts of my life, and I'm really grateful for that memory. So that is our stories for today, and now we're just going to keep playing this game and chatting and seeing what happens. Is it my turn to pick up?
Discard.
Discard. Ooh, I don't want to. I'm not feeling confident about my discards right now. This game got a lot of cards out on the table.
We do.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh no! Like I said, I wish we could show you what's going on over here. You guys could get interested in, what moves are we gonna make? Ooh, that's good to know. That's also tough to know. That's not fun.
No, that's not.
You think we're going to get to the end of this deck? I don't know if we've ever done that. Oh, of course.
Woo-woo!
Of course. Good job.
Add them up.
Okay, that's all going to go sit over there. So I need to take a jack and a king out. And then I need to take another card to cover this. And then I've got whatever's left right here. All right, so face cards are worth 10. I'll wait till you're done. I'm pretty sure she beat me. She had a lot of cards. Face cards are worth 10.
Yep.
Number cards are worth 5. Aces are worth 15.
Yes.
10, 20, 30, 40, 55. I had 55. You had 105.
120.
120. Good Lord. Got me good.
Your turn to shuffle, sir.
All right, my love. Well, I was really excited about going outside and throwing some bags. We are full-time RVers. We have bags. We've got the boards. We could go out and do that. But right now we don't have any kind of microphone set up so that we could talk to you. And we don't have any way to see chat while we're throwing the bags. And more important than all of that production stuff, it's windy outside today. So we could have gone out and tried to throw some bags, but the wind would have made it an interesting day to do that. So looking forward to getting all the things we need to set up a sweet setup for playing bags. But for today, we get to sit here, tell some stories, play some cards. You've got a beverage that you get to drink. I might decide to get myself a beverage in just a minute.
It's not like a bevy. It's just
right. These are not adult beverages that we're talking about.
Or bevy, as we like to call them.
Yes.
Speaking of that, we have not determined what the bevy is on the menu for our Christmas party. Because it is going to be, I'm going to count us as one of the young couples.
we're grandparents, folks, but we're one of the young couples, quote unquote. Okay.
So it's going to be Nick and his fiancée Macy, and Joshua and his wife Erica, and the baby Miss Blair.
Yes, our granddaughter.
Oh, she's the best. And us. So we have not yet determined what the cocktail of the day is.
Okay. We'll have to have an adventure planner and talk that one through.
I think we'll come up with one, and I think I might chat with the females in the family.
Cut it.
And find out, see if maybe each family brings to the table a cocktail.
Interesting.
Yeah. Our Christmas party's pretty fun. We all wear pajamas.
Yeah.
So everybody's comfy. And we exchange gifts. And
in an actual gift exchange.
Yes.
So it's not just everyone gets a million gifts.
No.
All of the adults, we have a gift exchange set up. It allows you to make a list of what you actually want. We have a $50 limit, so we're not buying, ridiculous amounts of stuff.
So, and we all try to spend the whole 50 too, which I really like.
Yes.
Like nobody's trying to spend 2, and then somebody's trying to spend 50.
So you try to get as close to spending $50 as you can.
And we do it on this app that Kirk set up for us, so it picks the names for us and everything.
Yes, makes it easy. Thank you for that app. Thanks for building apps that'll do that for us.
And it also gives us a place where we can, it hosts our wishes and wants and where to get them. So it really makes it easy to buy for people.
Woo! Starting with the throwdown. Okay, girl, I see you.
In addition to that, though, I have continued the tradition of getting the boys, and now the girls, stockings every year. When I was growing up, stockings weren't really a thing, and one year, my mom went all out and did these stockings for me and my sis, and we just loved that. So I have kept that going for my boys, and I know at one point, just a couple years ago, I even said, hey, let me know when you're done with this. Like, if you're done with it, if you're over it, totally okay. My feelings aren't hurt. Just let me know. No point spending the money if you don't, want or need them. And the boys were like, nope, tradition. So, I'll tell you what I put in their stockings every year. So, some traditional things. I always put in the smallest box of Legos I can find. And it's usually it makes like one person or one car.
And is it the little, you said box, it's the plastic baggie
sometimes? Well, now it's the bag, but for a long time it was a box.
Nice.
And then I always put in fart putty.
Yeah.
Tradition, every little boy's dream to make great fart sounds. You got it. Oh, you got it. It's so good.
And they play with them as soon as they pull them.
Yes.
We're talking about guys who are in their mid to late 20s.
Late 20s, 28 and 29.
Woo! And they pull them out and
instant fart sounds.
And we all start laughing because we love it. It's so good.
Yeah. Did you discard yet?
Yes, I threw that down.
Okay.
About to take all that. Oh no!
Yeah. What else goes in there? Character pajama pants.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually pick those up on Black Friday, and I've just kept it going. Both boys have a whole stack of them from the years. And I found out later that the girls used to wear them all the time. Super cool. No problem there. What else do I put in there? Usually some kind of mini toy. I used to love to get them tech decks. And for a long time they had tech deck with a little character. Mm-hmm. And so I would get them those every year. That was super cool. But tech decks are not so easy to find now. And so when I can find them, I get them. Otherwise I get some kind of weird mini toy. I think last year one kid got like mini Lincoln Logs in a little can, and one got like mini Tinker Toys.
Nice. If you know what a tech deck is, throw it down in the comments in the YouTube comments section.
Excellent. Oh, I need to discard, don't I?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and so for the girls, I get them beauty stuff. So I work for Redken, a big hair color company, so I get them Redken products. I get them hair ties. I get them.
What would you throw down?
Get them hair ties. What else? I used to get them perfume, but now that the baby's born, like one of them's not really into that. Any kind of little beauty things I can find. Bath bombs, cute little mirrors, mostly beauty stuff. And always a pound of bobby pins. I get them a pound box. Usually, I'm told it lasts them the year. And I also get them character pajamas now too. And so for the baby, last year we got her a bunch of little Christmas books.
Nice. Yes.
So.
We love giving books to the baby.
My turn.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. That didn't help me at all.
Interesting.
Yes, we do love getting the baby books. She does have a lot of books. I'm so excited to give her her present.
Yep. And one of the nice things is for all of the kids that we're going to get presents for, they do, what is it, like an Amazon list and something like that.
Yeah, it's great.
So we know what they want.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law, Erica, bless you. Oh, dang! She started it. One thing I love.
You're probably, okay, no, you got a bunch in your hand. I said you were going to still beat me.
She is very definite. When you ask her what she wants, she'll tell you. And I love that. It makes it so easy. And Macy's gotten to be the same. So I've got 10 points. I'm pretty sure.
35, yeah.
Anyway, and so now my nieces, who I miss terribly and I love and adore, who now live in North Carolina, they started Amazon lists too. So we can just go to their list, pick some stuff off of it, send it out to them. We buy for all the kids. We all do. They are not included in the gift exchange part because we all love them and we all want to spoil them.
Yes.
And then we have a lot of December birthdays too. So we throw in, the birthday presents kind of all at the same time too.
Yep.
I'm December 31st. My niece.
Can you imagine having a December 31st birthday? Everyone's trying to go out and celebrate New Year and you're like, it's my birthday, people!
Yeah. Same thing. I've said it my whole life. There's always a party, and it's never for me.
Oh.
Anyway, my niece Sophia, sweetest baby ever. Her birthday's on my birthday. We share that. My sister's is the 30th, and so day before mine, but 9 years later. And so yeah, we kind of trade birthday gifts at the same time usually. Unfortunately, my sister and my nieces will not be able to be at the Christmas party. So we are going to, we used to say Skype. Now we're going to, no, we're actually going to Google Duo.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to video chat with them. And my mom is not going to be able to be there this year either. Hey out there, Graham.
5,
6. So we'll do the same. We'll video chat with them. Because they're still included in the gift exchange, and we want to make sure they feel loved too. So, but unfortunately, no Christmas cocktails for them.
Yep. Pretty sweet to have the ability to connect with people.
My gosh,
and seeing as Thanksgiving is tomorrow, we can let you all in on a big surprise. We are going to be having a Christmas live stream. We're probably going to take a few hours to do it. We don't know what date it's on yet. So it's not Christmas Day, and it's not the Christmas party we're telling you about right now. But it is going to be us decorating our RV, and we do something special as we travel. We like to collect a certain something. What is that?
Christmas ornaments.
That's right. We collect Christmas ornaments from everywhere we travel to. And so we're going to be taking time to hopefully chat with all of you. And we'll try to do it a little later. So if anyone from the West Coast, which is where we were coming from, wants to be a part of it, we can do that. And we're going to take time to have maybe some hot apple cider or something Christmassy, maybe some peppermint hot chocolate. That's something I enjoy. And we're going to go through each one of our ornaments and talk about where we got them from and what they mean to us, and maybe some stories from the places we got them from, and really just take some time to enjoy setting up our Christmas tree, putting up some ornaments, and sharing all of that time with all of you out there. So it'll probably be somewhere close to Christmas, but a little far enough away that, you can all enjoy it with us, we hope. So be on the lookout for Tully Adventurers Christmas Party.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, it's still my turn, huh?
I believe it is. Wait, you dealt.
Oh, right. No, we haven't even started. What am
We
I
haven't
saying?
even started. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna pull a card for 8, and I'm gonna drop that right there. Okay.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know, we knock to say, hey there, and to let each other know that we're done. What did you just do? Who shuffled these cards? Yeah, you shuffle these cards and then throw down a run of 4. Ooh, girl.
Thank you, Grandma Lindbauer, for the tip on the knock so that we know when the other person's done.
I don't like any of my options right now. Not a one.
I got a runny nose today.
Whatever. Throw that down and let you do what you're gonna do. Okay. Well, I'll take that and drop these underneath it.
Had to get you started there.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I still don't like any of my options. What are we going to do?
Okay, I'm super excited. I love almonds. The holidays, love candied almonds. But me and sugar, we're not friends.
Yup.
I like them. They don't like me. Found a recipe for some sugar-free candied vanilla cinnamon almonds, which sounds amazing to me. So I'm gonna try it out.
Nice. I might regret that move right there. Okay. Still in it, folks. I think I'm still in it. We'll see.
Hang on, I don't want to drop any of these.
Right. Okay, so I'm taking these. I'm going to use that one
Son
to
of
put
a...
that there and that there. Right? Nobody
my
happy
sister
right
used to
now.
say when she was a little girl. Oh, what the?
Alright. There's my move. Hoping you don't have the things that you might have that would allow you to do some things, and you don't. Woo! You're going to be alright.
Clearly, I don't. Clearly.
Man. So what are your Thanksgiving plans, folks? It's tomorrow. What are you going to be doing?
I know what we're doing.
Ooh. You want to tell them? We're having Friday fun on Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and tell them what we're going to be doing.
We are going to go, and it will be my first professional football game. We're going to go see the Saints play.
Yeah.
Because we have decided...
Jen has decided for us.
Yes, I have. That the Saints are now our team. Why?
Lord.
Tell them why.
Well, supposedly the official drink of the Saints is Crown Royal Whiskey. And that's my drink. That's my drink. Okay.
It's funny. People are like, oh no, don't you want to upgrade to this whiskey or that whiskey? Yeah. He'll take the son of a gun.
Yeah! Nope. Crown Royal it is. That's my favorite one, so.
I am upside down 5.
Nice. Okay. Same, different.
Let's play the one where you keep it in your hands.
All right, we're going to have 11 cards in our hands.
Mm-hmm. And you can only take the top card off.
You can only take the top card off the stack and off of the discard pile or the stack, and you keep them in your hands until you get sets and runs.
Yeah.
So with 11 cards, 11 cards.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Like a... Oh, yeah, it's sets and runs, however you make it work, so.
Yeah.
And it's either gin or gin rummy, right?
It's one of them, I don't know.
All right, so we're also supposedly, now Jen has decided we're Saints fans because, why, my love?
Well, you just said it, because Crown is the official drink.
Sure, what are the Saints' colors?
I don't remember.
Gold and black.
Oh, right.
And what's your favorite color to wear?
Black.
Yeah.
In case you haven't picked that up. You know what's funny, though, is that people have attributed me wearing all black to me working for Redken, because that is our uniform. However, I did it long before that. I mean,
just worked out nicely, huh?
I've just always done that, so yeah. So thanks to Redken for giving me a reason to write off my clothes.
Oh,
my bad.
Yep. This is my little college girl. We're the young couple. We're definitely too old to be here on Twitch and all of the social media places. But this is my college girl, and she's also my goth girl. She just loves wearing the color black, and she loves the skull and crossbones.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we're going to figure out what cards we have here. Ooh, lordy. All right.
Got an interesting mix here.
Yeah. Tell me about it. And you get to go first. Okay, and I'm going to take that one, and then I'm going to discard. I'm going to discard that one. Ooh, yeah, what are we doing out there, people? Hope you're enjoying this. As always, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Join us on Twitch to chat with us in real time. We're working on doing our best to follow chat along and make sure we're chatting with you when you show up. Ooh, what do we got going on now? Okay. And definitely grateful to have you here.
Absolutely. When I said what the earlier, it reminded me of a great story about my sister.
Okay.
So my sister's 9 years younger than me. And I think she was probably in about 3rd grade, and she was in a school play, and they were doing a segment that was like the three bears, and she came in and looked at, she was one of the bear, I think the baby bear. She came in and looked at the porridge that had been eaten, and then whipped her head around, like looked at the audience just dead face, and was like, "What the?" Was the best. I was dying. I was laughing so hard. I was cracking up. I was falling off my seat. My dad's laughing. My mom is just irritated. The audience is looking at us, like, all of us, like, "Oh, I can't believe she said that." Oh.
Did she finish the sentence?
No.
Oh, okay.
She just said, right there. What the? It was so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh. That's what happens when you have an older sibling, huh?
So I'm guessing she was supposed to say somebody's been eating my porridge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because Goldilocks is running around.
Kind of like a, what happened? What the?
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Well, I don't like what's happening right now. But that's okay. That's a good story, though.
Yeah.
Made you laugh, maybe cry from laughter even. That's good stuff. Take that. Should maybe allow me something along that line. I got that one. I think it's time to let you go. Really?
Really?
Show me what you got. 9, 10, Jack of Diamonds. 3 through 7 of Diamonds. Nice. 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I had these 9s. I was waiting for a 6 and another 9 and a whatever, and I had these 3 queens.
All right.
So, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yep.
All right. Well, your turn to shuffle. So, let's put everyone's favorite person onto the screen. Come here, B. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on up here. Come on up here. Yes, there you go. There you go.
He's like, I'm not usually allowed up here. What are you doing?
Yeah, you're the goodest boy. You're the goodest boy, and we love you. Yeah. Tail's just wagging. Happy, happy boy. Yes. Yes, that's my good boy. That's my good boy. Mwah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully you could see him. Come on, come here. Come here, B. Right up here. Yeah, I know. We don't let you.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
We
that.
don't let you. There he is. You can see him.
Besito.
Oh, yeah. What a good boy. You're a good boy, B, and we love you. Yes. Yes. Okay. Go to your bed. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That's BB King, my service dog. I am a disabled veteran, so he helps me out, and been pretty amazing. We have flown with him on planes. We've taken him on a little electric boat. You can see that in our YouTube. That's the Ventura Harbor Tour.
He likes the boat.
He does like the boat, and he got interested in some ducks that were in the water. He was going to jump out and get them. He's a swimming dog. He loves being in the water. So,
why does he love being in the water?
well, I might surf a little bit, and so I've taken him out. Oh, we have a TikTok somewhere out there that has me taking him surfing. We got to do that in Texas, in Corpus Christi, Texas. So
One of my favorite places now.
been on some real good adventures. It's been nice. Enjoying it. Enjoying it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're getting ready to fly with him again. We're flying home to see the kids for Christmas. And gonna fly with him again, which reminds me, I've got to call the airlines and let them know that he'll be with us.
Nice. Right. Yep. Got to make sure we bring all the paperwork and.
Yeah. And we don't bring it because we have to have it. We bring it just in case, because we want to make the situation as comfortable as possible for everybody involved.
Absolutely.
And there is the potential that they could ask for his vaccination records. And we want to make sure, we have them handy. We don't want to be caught off guard.
Absolutely.
I know they were so good to us the last time we flew with them. I think we flew from just a small flight, LAX to Sacramento.
Yes.
Yeah. Something to know, though, about those of you that have service animals or are thinking about getting them. When you rent a car, they absolutely can't stop you from renting the car, for your service animal. However, they can still charge you extra for cleaning up pet hair. So, hot tip, and hopefully I'll remember to do that this time, is to get one of those little lint rollers with the tape, and then give it a quick once over to make sure you get your pet hair out of the car, because you don't want to get charged extra.
That's a nice tip.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa. I'm not looking. I don't know why you're throwing cards all over the place.
I was trying to hide it, but then I dropped it.
Yeah, you're supposed to chest your cards.
I know it.
That's what your grandma taught you, right?
That's what Eric's grandma, my bonus
Oh,
son.
there you go.
His grandma Lindbauer. Loved to play cards, or as I like to say, card shark.
Ooh.
Because she just seemed like this little old lady that just, just wanted to play cards for fun. She'll whoop your ass at cards every time. Every time. And she believed in playing. Like, she wasn't just going to let you win to let you win. And I appreciated that. I definitely appreciated that.
A little competitive streak in her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grandma Lindbauer was a great lady.
Nice. Very nice.
Definitely treated my boys well as well.
Very good.
To the Lindbauer family and everybody that's involved in that family, my heart goes out to you. One of those family members passed away just a few days ago, and to anybody that knew Lisa Wade, one of the most vivacious women I know. Very loving, very caring. Took great care of her family, took great care of her husband. If you own a Jeep and you go floor buying, you probably know the Wade family. They are the owners of Off-Road Evolutions, and amazing people. My heart goes out to all of you. Love you, Lisa. It's tough when you get to an age where people that you know are passing away.
Absolutely.
Makes you face your own mortality for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, here we are.
Yep.
Trying to throw down on these cards.
Yep.
And I'm guessing you're beating me right now. I'm totally guessing, but man, I'm just not finding anything. Anything that's gonna work.
Really?
Guess I called that one. She throws down. Yeah, I was all over the place. Trying to figure out how to get these twos. Try to get the 7 and 8 there.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a 9-10 jack, which was nice, but then a 10 and a jack. I mean, just.
Yep.
I had another 10 that I threw down earlier, and then I got the 10, and I was like, man, I could have.
I hate that feeling.
It was just all a mess.
Right?
Just all a mess. All right, Jen. Is it mine?
Yes.
You want to keep playing the same game? You want to play something else?
I'm down to play this one more time.
Okay. All right, so I got an idea to run by you. See what we think about this.
All right.
So, in our society, there are more men in jail than women.
Yep.
And we have laws mostly about physical violence.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have laws about emotional violence. We don't have laws about...
That's not accurate.
Okay. We don't have as many laws
Fair.
about emotional violence.
Fair.
And so it seems to me that society is slanted in their justice system, generally speaking, towards holding men more responsible than they hold women. So I'm suggesting that if you're going to look generally speaking, so at about 60 to 80% of the population, men are the ones who will do physical violence because we have larger upper bodies. We're more capable of doing physical violence.
Mm-hmm.
It's also one of the ways that We used to hunt. We used to do all of those kind of things, which required that physical violence.
Okay.
We still go to war, which requires physical violence. Whereas we are not as capable, generally speaking. Once again, there are outliers. There are definitely women who are capable of physical violence. The UFC has women fighting in it. There are women who join the military, all of that kind of stuff. So we're definitely not saying that women are not capable, but more often than not, men are going to choose physical violence and women are going to choose emotional violence. And it even plays down into just general conversation. Men are going to be more respectful in their conversation because they know that if it gets too emotional, or if it gets too name calling or something like that, charged up, there's going to be physical violence. Whereas I think that, and I could be wrong, so that's why I'm trying to have this conversation with you, I think women don't recognize that they're pushing their emotions out or putting them onto other people, or the way they talk is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And so for men who don't have necessarily, generally speaking, a receiver for emotions, it can feel violent towards a man when a woman is just trying to have a conversation and talk about what's going on with her, and it has a bunch of feeling or emotion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Another way this can play out is women can get out of tickets if they cry and make an emotional scene. And that might not happen as much nowadays, but that's one of those ideas that's part of our society. So do women use emotions, and can we even recognize it as emotional violence? And how would we make laws about emotional violence, requiring us to recognize it, so that we hold every human being as accountable for their emotional violence as we do for the physical violence? Thoughts?
Okay. Yeah. So, we're going to talk in generalities, because I just have to say that to remind myself that we're going to talk in generalities. So,
yes. So if this doesn't individually fit to you, we're talking in general. And so there's definitely outliers. There are men who can commit emotional violence and do it very well. There are women who can commit physical violence and do it very well. I still don't think that any of the females fighting in the UFC could have taken on Andre the Giant and beaten him, because I haven't seen a woman that big who's willing to be that violent physically. But hey, I could be wrong about that as well.
I think that, first of all, there are some laws about emotional violence.
Okay.
And those would be laws about bullying.
Okay.
Okay, so there'd be that. Very difficult to prove, but exist.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And are those held, like I've heard about bullying in schools and things like that. You're telling me there are laws in the United States of America for adults bullying other adults?
I think it comes down to like the situation, like in a workplace environment, a hostile environment, considered a hostile environment. Different things like that. So I think you'll find them more smattered around as opposed to like all in one place.
Okay, so we're not necessarily talking federal law or state law. We're talking more in a given business,
something like that.
That place of employment has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like obviously in schools, you know. And I was going to say with children, but no, that's not true. It's also for adults that are in school. Like there's definitely rules and laws about bullying that take place around that situation.
How would you feel about federal laws for bullying or for emotional violence? Is it just laughable to you, or is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But the criteria would have to be very specific. Because, you know,
it goes against our freedom of speech.
Yeah,
right?
people can blow things out of proportion a lot.
And it really goes against freedom of speech.
Even with like libel and slander, you have to prove that there was a lasting outcome from it. Like it hindered your ability to do your job, or it hindered your ability to make money, or something like that.
Are those criminal suits or are those civil suits? Like you can...
Those are both civil.
Yes. So is there criminal law for emotional violence? Can you send someone to prison because they've been emotionally violent to you? Whose turn is it, by the way?
I shuffled.
I shuffled.
Oh, okay,
so it's your turn. Okay. And if there are any lawyers out there who have some insight into this, we would love to hear about it. If there's anyone who knows some legal precedences and things of that nature.
My phone's dead.
I'm interested in finding out about this. So comment on YouTube, come meet us in Twitch chat. Tell us about what you think and what's going on.
Here's some things I do know, though. The difference between like physical violence and emotional violence is that the idea is that you can walk away from some emotional violence. Okay, like we use this term Karen a lot. When a Karen generally approaches you and starts, yelling at you about, whatever, you parked your car wrong, whatever.
Sure.
Generally, you have the ability to leave. Like, whatever. However, if she detains you, impedes your ability to walk or move.
Sure, but that's a physical act.
Now we've crossed into physical, right? So I think it's the idea that you have the ability to get away from it. And I think that is a big separation.
Okay, but as someone who has PTSD, which is a non-physical disability, I have recognition for my disability and can get civil compensation. I can get money for my disability.
Okay.
But I cannot pursue criminal charges against whoever. I was a soldier, so I would have to pursue criminal charges against the U.S. government, which is a whole other mess to deal with. But I still haven't heard a clear, we don't have a clear recognition of what emotional violence is, and so
define it for me.
Well, this is another area where I think it's different for men and women, and that's why there's such a problem. You can see the physical effects of someone's... Is it my turn?
Yes.
Of someone's violent actions. But you can't see a physical effect of... It's an invisible disability, like PTSD, or it's an invisible disability like...
I think that another reason there's not laws about that is there's too many variables.
Okay.
Like, if I say something to somebody, there's so many factors that play into the way they receive it. There's too many factors for the way they could potentially receive that. I think you're going to have a really hard time determining specifics.
So you would have to know each individual person to their own, so greatly to their individual needs that it's impossible to write a general law that would hold people accountable.
What I'm saying
given our specific system here in the U.S.
I have a hard time determining that, because you could literally say the same 3 words to a group of 10 people and come up with 10 different meanings there.
Sure.
Some people are going to be hurt by it, some people are not.
Some people are going to think it's funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's too many variables.
Okay. So I guess what I'm I'm also wondering is trying to do some world building or things like that where we're not going to start from we live in the United States of America, we have freedom of speech, we can say whatever we want with certain limitations. You can't start a riot by calling there's a fire or put people in physical danger by the things that you say.
You can say the president's a jackass and I hate him, but you cannot say that you're going to do harm to him.
Right. So threats, things like that could end up in a physical problem. So
wow, this is a shit show today. Just a frickin' shit show.
So I hear people talking about trying to live in matriarchies or, bring down the patriarchy so that we live in... If we were living in an actual matriarchy, however you define that, because I don't know how to define that either, would you be able to create laws that were based on emotional violence instead of physical violence?
I don't think so. I still don't think so.
Fair enough. There's just too many variables because each individual person has too many different ways of hearing and dealing with things. Okay, so then let's just take it to relationships and how to relate to people.
All right.
When you talk to other women, so I'll start from a personal level, just because I don't understand how women interact with each other, because I'm not a woman. Okay. Do you notice a difference in how emotional the conversation can get with less issues, or issues that are fairly quickly resolved, than when you talk to a man in the same way or with the same emotional context? Is a man capable of interacting with that level of is a man capable of interacting with that level of emotional stress?
Capable?
Once again, we're still speaking in generalities. So maybe you've met a few men who can, but most of the men you talk to, are they able to?
I don't think generally let's say we're at a social gathering and one of the gentlemen there is having a conversation with me. I don't generally meet them with talk about emotional stings.
Okay.
Unless they approach the conversation that way. Okay. And even then, it's just usually from a place of fairly light empathy. Meaning, I don't know you very well, so I'm not going to get down and deep into this.
Okay.
But I'll meet you where you're at, empathetically.
Makes sense. Hold on a minute.
I think a female is more likely to get not all, but it's more.
Babe, hold on a minute. I'm going to make a lot of loud noise, and I want to hear what you have to say. So stop. Okay, go ahead.
I think generally a female is more likely to share things about their life, emotional things.
With a female they've just met or in a social situation.
Yeah. I think that's probably true.
The stories you would, or the things you would talk about with a man in a general social situation that it's just maybe a stranger, someone you work with, something like that. The conversation is not going to have that emotional context with a man that it would with a woman. Okay. Because a man's just not going to share that kind of emotional stuff.
Yes, and to be very honest, I'm married. I don't want to I feel uncomfortable talking to another man about emotional stuff.
But you will talk to any woman. Most women, generally speaking.
Generally. I don't know. I'm digging deep now. I'm really having to think about this.
Sure. Well, we don't usually think about it. And for people who don't put some boundaries on themselves when they get married, they might talk to anybody about their emotional stuff, and anyone who's kind to them. It's easy to get into emotional affairs because you're talking to, if you're a woman, you're talking to a man about, emotional things that are deep and matter to you. Or if you're a man, you're flirting with women, and they're thinking that there's going to be more to the relationship. And so if you don't consider those things, yeah, it can be a real problem.
Yeah.
There we go. We're playing Muggles. It's actually called Muggins. So 7 pieces. We're trying to make multiples of 5. That's how you score. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we'll keep the train going. We start with our lovely little piece. We're going to play some dominoes. So it makes sense to you that, generally speaking, once you're in a relationship, there is such a thing as an emotional affair where you're talking to someone. Now, but once again, you could only have an emotional affair if you're talking to a man about deep emotional things. Who's not me.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
That's not.
Do you have doubles?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you're going to have a higher double than me, so whatever the highest one is. Nice.
10.
So you start with 10 points. Excellent. 12. Okay, so explain that to me. How can you have an emotional affair with a woman?
I gotta check out for a minute. I gotta think about this for a second.
The game is afoot.
Yeah, think about what I'm doing here. I can connect to a 2 or a 5. That's just 14.
10. I'm asking the question because if you put all of your emotional needs onto your husband and expect your husband to be able to have those emotional conversations with you,
right,
then you're putting him in a pretty difficult position for a man, because we don't conversate. Men don't, generally speaking, conversate in those emotional terms. And so when you come at a man with all of your emotions because you're not going to share them with other women, or you're scared of having an emotional affair with other women, then that could be, in my mind, construed as emotional violence that you're perpetrating on your husband, because he can't carry the weight and the stress of all of the emotions that go along with all of that. So how do you have female friends who you can talk to and have your normal female style of conversation that has all that emotion and all of that as part of it, and also 10, expect the right amount of emotional conversation with your husband?
Well, there's a lot of things you're talking about there. So one of the areas that I think you can get into trouble in your marriage is when there are issues within the marriage and you take that all publicly to somebody else and are unwilling to handle it, deal with it, converse with your spouse, get help, whatever the case may be. 9. I think that is a slippery slope right there.
Nice.
Muggles?
Oh, good, yeah.
So
we get number 10. Okay.
I think that as spouses, we have to find a way to communicate to each other.
Sure. But that's not what I'm saying. So we're muddying up the waters here by bringing in a different element. I'm not talking about conflict resolution between you and your spouse. I'm talking about if you will not, as a woman, have conversations with other women that allow you to vent your emotions the way women do, and you bring all of that onto your husband, is it possible that your husband would see it as emotional abuse and feel it's not physical violence, but they're just being overwhelmed and crushed by all of the emotions that you're trying to not only have, but have reflected back to you? I think that when women talk to each other, they sort of reflect back each other's emotions. You can read it on a woman can read it on another woman's face, and so there's all of this nonverbal communication that happens between women because they sit face to face and talk to each other and interconnect and have this emotional aspect to their conversation. Whereas, as we've talked about before, men prefer shoulder to shoulder. We're looking out at a vision of what the future could be, at a vision of what we're going to do together, things of that nature. And for me, face-to-face conversation seems like violence because I'm a man. And so if we're looking at each other too long, it'll become violent. So can you, as a woman, recognize the possibility that you're going to be perpetrating emotional violence towards a man just by putting all of that emotion onto them and expecting them to respond similarly?
So the challenge is in the expectation.
Yes.
The challenge is not being who they are. The challenge is in the expectation. Expecting any person to carry the weight of all of your emotions is not wise.
Okay.
Because nobody can bear that burden. No one person can. That's impossible. But to think that somehow compares to, being socked in the face or socked in the gut, I don't buy that.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So we're having a struggle with the comparison aspect, which brings me to Richard Pryor, great comedian, talking about he and his girlfriend are breaking up. It's your turn, by the way. And she is saying the most terrible, hurtful things to him about who he is as a man and what his body is and how it's not good enough. Would that sort of emotional violence, which I would say for me as a man would have a similar effect, in fact a worse effect than physical violence, compared to a man punching a woman in the face?
I would say the argument is
15.
Why can't he walk away from that? Why does he stay to endure that?
Why does a woman stay long enough that the man is going to take a swing? So hold on. Is it emotional violence?
Yeah, it's brutal.
Okay, so there is actually emotional violence. It does exist.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Okay. But we're not talking about that yet. We're talking about Okay, so let's get back then to expectations and not compare apples to oranges, but we'll compare apples to apples.
Okay.
Telling a man that who he is and his physical abilities are not good enough might be apples to apples with a man taking a physical swing at a woman.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because then there's also that, you know, if a man says those things to a female, that can be just as devastating.
So there's nothing that a woman can do that would be of the same violence and lasting effect to a man as a man can do with his physical body to a woman.
I have a tough time having these conversations because I'm like, there are women who could perpetrate more physical harm than the man in the relationship.
Right, but
so I know. I'm telling you, I'm struggling with that.
Okay.
So let me just take a deep breath.
Okay.
Ask me the question again, please.
Given that, generally speaking, for the mainstay of the population, that's what we're dealing with, not the outliers, not the women who are capable of physical violence at a high level, not the men who are capable of emotional violence at a high level, but within the realm of the general population, where the man is physically bigger than the woman, but the woman is emotionally stronger than the man.
Mm-hmm.
Can a woman perpetrate emotional violence against a man when she expects him to relate to her the way another woman would, or interact in conversations with her and understand the facial expressions she's making that tell certain emotions and things like that? Could that be emotional violence against a man?
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because I don't think that... I'm not saying it's good, but I don't think it's violence. I think it's very much like a man who takes his wife hunting with him.
Okay.
You know, they're shoulder to shoulder. They're, you know, if he were to have the same expectations he has of his wife out hunting as he does of his buddies, that would be a similar situation. And I don't see that as violent. So when I look at the two things,
so I still think you're comparing apples to oranges. So where is the apples to apples?
but if you're saying that women, you know, that men do the shoulder to shoulder communication and women do the face to face communication,
Mm-hmm.
and men talk about what they're doing and women talk about their emotions, if that's the set, then a woman coming to her husband and unloading all her emotions and expecting him to relate in kind is no different than a man who takes his wife out hunting and talks to her and treats her like one of his buddies and expects that same kind of reaction. I don't see his side as being violent, so I don't see her side as being violent.
So you haven't felt like it was violence when some man who you were in a relationship with forced you to go do something that he enjoyed without reciprocating back to do something that you enjoyed? Or is that not even something that happens because men are trying to engage with women in a way that's going to allow them to have a relationship, and so men have to meet women relationally, but women don't have to. I was watching Patrice O'Neill the other day, and he was talking about how women don't have to try to pick up men. Women don't have to go in and try to smoothly get men to like them. Men are just going to go after them because women have what we physically want. And so
that has not been my experience.
Men have never in your life pursued you?
Yes, but it's been the other way around as well.
So you've pursued men?
Yeah.
How many women do you know who are aggressive in their pursuit of men who are under the age of 30?
I don't, and I probably wouldn't know that about them. I don't. I can't think of a situation where we'd be chatting about that.
What do you think is the conversation right now?
You're saying that women don't have to work at picking up men, but men work at picking up women, and I don't. That's not been my experience.
Okay. Then I guess we can't have this conversation, and that's all right. All right, you ready to keep playing?
Yeah.
Whose turn is it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
I put the first one down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's mine. Then, right?
Because
you.
Did you
me,
have to pick
you,
one up?
Me.
Yes,
I had to pick one up. It's your turn.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Nice. Have we taken a few deep breaths?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let me just ask you this then. Is there any way for men and women to be equal, given that, generally speaking, men are capable of physical violence to a greater degree? If you compare apples to apples, men are generally physically bigger. So is there any way that men and women can be equal when we hold when we hold society accountable for physical violence, but we do not hold society accountable for emotional violence? And given what you've told me, there's nothing a woman can do emotionally that is as bad as anything a man does physically.
I gotta ponder that statement for a while, because there are some. There is emotional abuse that happens. Absolutely, there is. So, you just got 10 points too, didn't you?
I would have, but you said it and I didn't. And since I didn't recognize it and say it out loud, you get the points. Good job.
Oh, I thought I was helping you out.
Come on, we're still in competition here. You're trying to win, aren't you?
15.
Oh, Lord. Well, you're winning.
So that's 7. Okay, so I can go 2, 4, or 1. 3. I think that there is emotional abuse that happens. I think it's very difficult to quantify it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people can be brutal to each other with their words.
Okay.
I think it can do as much damage. But the question was, given those things, do I think that men and women can be equal. In a universal situation, no, I don't. I don't believe that. If you know just the physiology of the body, you know that a human with
10.
With the chromosomal pattern that we know of as male, their cells respond differently to oxygen. There's many innate things that happen that are very different, and that also leads to the general consensus that adult men are generally stronger than women physically, and no matter what science you put to it, are unable to bear
5.
children.
Voldemort.
Ah!
So you take 3.
So no, it's not. We're not.
Okay. So you've kind of worked out your answer?
I think so.
Okay.
It's tough though, because it's like I want to compare these generalizations, and then I want to put like a whole perfect 360 around it.
What do you mean by that?
Like in these situations, we talk about generalities. The middle 60%. But when I do can we ever be equal, I look at all the nooks and crannies of it.
Right.
So
you're looking at the outliers to point out that the outliers can never be equal, even if we did find some way to appease the general population.
True.
Okay, so let me ask you this question one more time.
Hold on a minute. I got to think for a second.
All right.
Got on the board 1, 3, 7.
And a 0. Ooh, nicely done. All right. So, my question is, can there ever be equality between men and women, given that we determine justice by physical violence, not emotional violence, and generally speaking, men are physically more capable of violence than women are? Physically.
So what's the question in that?
Okay. Is it possible to have equality between men and women, given that emotional violence can never be as illegal as physical violence, and men are, generally speaking, more capable of physical violence because of their body structure?
Well, I already gave that we can't be equal.
I'm capable of making clips now, and you've worked out a small portion of how you feel about the question. I was asking it again to see if you could summarize your idea. And so your idea is we cannot be equal. Okay. Does it all make sense what's going on right now?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. Because maybe I'm just crazy. For even asking these questions.
But
oh man, and that's going to be nothing. I guess another reason I'm asking this is because I have felt the effects of emotional violence, and I don't know how to get justice for that. 15. And so, knowing that as a man, I can be held responsible for any physical actions that I take, regardless of the emotional stress that another human being has put me through, they're not going to have legal action taken against them because we can't quantify the emotional stress. But we can and do quantify the physical actions and damage that happens. So even though I have PTSD, I'm not going to have a criminal suit that I can take against the people who caused me the emotional stress that led to my invisible disability.
So we could have been having this whole conversation without utilizing any gender.
How?
Because a person would be responsible for physical violence, and you're saying that people are not held accountable for their emotional violence. So we could have had this whole conversation when we just talk about emotional violence versus.
No, because what I want to do, if we can admit that there is emotional violence and then create the possibility that emotional violence is just as harmful to human beings as physical violence, which we could not do, then we could deal with, in a conversation between a husband and a wife, does a wife understand the emotional stress, I'll use that terminology instead of the word violence since we didn't define the word violence. Can a wife understand that she's putting her husband under emotional stress that he has no way to deal with or cope with, and that for him it could feel like violence? We can't get to that part because we haven't been able to deal with how it works with the genders and how it's different for the genders, and how there are times when you and I try to have conversations and I'm trying to talk to you like you're one of my buddies, and you don't understand what I'm saying to you because you don't receive information naturally that way. Or you're trying to talk to me and it's coming out the way you would talk to another woman, and I'm totally lost because I don't receive the emotional things that are happening, but I do know there's some stress or problem there that I can't fix. And I think for me personally, and as a man, knowing that you're under some strain that I can't help with or even understand is such a difficult part of being married. And we've been married for 5 years, and I've learned that part of what I need to do is give you space to have that stress and strain and problem that I can't do anything about. But it still hurts me that we're even trying to have the conversation this way, or that you're asking me, it seems like by the way you're talking, you're asking me to receive the emotions, emote with you, meet you with empathy the way another woman would. And I don't know how to deal with that. And for me personally, growing up the way I did, my mom used the terminology, and this is where it becomes very personal and not about male and female and not about whatever. My mom used the terminology, hear what I mean, not what I say. And there's no way I can do that because I'm a man. I don't receive the emotions the way women do. I have not got built into my body and brain the ability to look at a baby and think, oh, you're crying and you're making this particular facial, you have these specific defined points of your facial tick that let me know this kind of crying is about you're happy or you're sad or you pooped your diaper or whatever else it is that allows women to birth a baby and deal with that baby for the first 2 or 3 years when pretty much all the baby's doing is crying, where a man is just going insane because we have no way to interact with those emotions. And so in that same way, I have no way of interacting with your emotions that you're sending out to me and hoping I receive. And it feels like violence to me. And maybe that's just me, because like I said, my mom told me to hear what she meant and not what she said. I don't have it built in me to be able to do that. And of course, then I had physical violence perpetrated against me because I was bullying her, manipulating her, and not understanding her. And, you know, you get a few wooden spoons broken over your shins or whatever it is. Now, maybe because there's the physical violence, you could say, oh, there's a problem. But my mom's 5'2", and by the time I was 10 years old, I was 5'10". And now I'm 6'2". So is a is someone who's going to supposedly enforce the law going to walk into a situation where some 5'2" woman is dealing with some 6'2" male and think, oh, that woman is perpetrating enough physical violence against that man for it to be a criminal offense? Without blood, without a knife, without... So, this is where for me it's very personal. And I was trying to stay detached enough to think through, can we look at levels of emotional violence and what it means and where it escalates to something that is problematic? And can we be aware enough of it that I go talk to my guy friends, you go talk to your girlfriend, so that we don't clash with each other when we're trying to tell stories or things like that. And right now we're kind of doing both face to face and shoulder to shoulder. By playing this game, I can be allowed to not really pay as much attention to your face. We're not staring into each other's eyes most of the time we're playing. You know, I'm down here looking at my tiles. I have an excuse for not receiving all of your emotional context. Does any of that make sense? Is any of that helpful to you? Am I still just being crazy?
I don't think you're being crazy. I think that there's some deep emotional wounds there.
Okay.
And I think that because there are deep emotional wounds there, emotional wounds, that anything that looks remotely like it's going to touch that owie gets amplified.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's wrong.
Sure.
I'm just saying I think that's what happens.
Okay.
And so in these conversations, I try to be as honest as I can and still be empathetic towards you and your feelings. Funny enough.
Fair. Does this have emotional context for you?
It does, because if I'm not aware of it, it can feel like I'm being held accountable for the sins of your mom.
Okay. And do you have things in your past that connect to emotional and physical violence from people you've been in relationships
Absolutely.
with? And
absolutely, both.
So might I be touching a wound that you have in this particular conversation?
Absolutely. I've definitely endured physical and emotional abuse, and yeah, it hurts. And I think that's why I'm so quick to say, but those lasting wounds that men can inflict emotional wounds as well.
Sure.
That hurt just as deeply. And yeah.
Okay.
So two hurt people talking about a painful subject. But I remember that we are not against each other. We are against the problem. And we don't have to agree on everything. I mean, there are things that sometimes you say about generalities that I'm like, nope, not buying it. Only because that's not been my personal experience. And so I try to frame it that way. Like you brought up something a little bit ago and I said, that's not been my experience.
Sure.
That doesn't mean it's not true. Anyway, the subject of gender right now is such a touchy subject. And I want to love people well for wherever they're at.
Sure.
And whatever they're going through. And although their beliefs and my beliefs might be different, I still want to love people for who they are.
Absolutely.
And, I need a timeout.
Okay. And we talk about a lot that we want to recognize individual people as God's holy and dearly loved children, who He is pleased with, even when He cannot approve of the things that they're doing. And when I look at my wife, that's who I see, and I hope that when she looks at me, that's who she sees. And sometimes I can't see that with anybody, because we do touch certain wounds and have certain hurts that make us blind to each other. And so I'm asking a lot of you, and I'm really grateful you used your time out, and I'm talking to the general people out here, but part of why Jen and I in the morning do Breaking Bible and start on the same page and try to have conversations that are built around who God is and who God says we are, is because sometimes I don't recognize my own wounds and hurts, and I start trying to have a conversation, and when I get hurt, I argue. And I was getting a little frustrated in this conversation. It felt like I was not able to communicate what I was trying to talk about, and that can be frustrating for me too. And of course, as Jen mentioned, she has hurts in these areas as well, which make it difficult. But part of why we play these games and share our stories and celebrate these things and try to learn about each other is so that we can be more gentle with each other around our wounds. And on an individual level, we can learn how to do that better. And in marriage, that's particularly what you're dealing with, because you're going to be with this same person for ideally the rest of your life. And since you're stuck with them for the rest of your life, you better figure out where to protect them by not having certain conversations or being very gentle with certain conversations, making sure they're in a good place. Jen's had a headache today as well that started yesterday, and so I probably wasn't considering that when I started having this conversation, because it's just an idea that I'm trying to deal with and wrestle with. And so maybe I do need to talk to my guy friends about this, and maybe they'll have some helpful perspective, because we can talk about it as just an idea without perhaps touching some of the emotional aspects. And I don't know, that might not work either. This might just be such a difficult subject to deal with, because we all as human beings have been hurt by people of the opposite gender, by people, you know. We all have our different things that we deal with. I didn't have a dad growing up, so all of my emotional context for both parents was put onto my mom. That's not fair to her. It's also not fair that she decided to leave my dad and raise me and my brother by herself without us having a dad around all the time. And everyone was doing their best, and none of it was good enough. And none of it is fair. And that's okay, because that's life. And that's why we talk about blessed are those who mourn, because grieving these losses and letting go of this hurt and forgiving the people who have hurt us, even if there's no opportunity for a relationship to start back up again or be rebuilt, as we let go of these hurts, our wounds get healed. And sometimes we need other people to help walk with us through that. Ideally, that's part of what the church is for, to help us understand who God is and how He forgives and how He teaches us to do life. I'm really grateful that in the 5 years that Jen and I have been married, we've put into place things like timeout. We're not gonna talk to each other when we're on a timeout, so that we have enough space to deal with what we're going through. And it might mean that we're done with the game as well, which is okay, because our relationship is going to last the rest of our lives. And 5 years from now, this game that we're playing, not going to be important. But my wife's mental health and my mental health, and where we're learning to grow because God is teaching us how to be more like Him, that's what's important. So, with all of that said to all of you, are we...
Amen.
Okay. All right. you're okay to go back to playing the game and finishing it?
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes that's all the time that it takes. And sometimes a timeout is until about an hour before bed, and then you've got to figure out how to not be angry with each other before going to sleep.
There is nothing worse than going to sleep mad at each other.
Right.
And then trying to sleep in the same bed, or like in our case, have to sleep in the same bed.
Yep. I love there was a couple on TikTok, they said, you know, you're supposed to never go to sleep angry, so we haven't slept for 7 days. Oh, man. So learning to be gentle with each other and recognize each other's wounds. Protect each other from ourselves and from other people where those wounds are at. That's what marriage gives us an opportunity to do. So, wonderful. All right. I believe, I just put that down, so it's your turn.
Okay. So 3, 4, 2, and 4.
Yep. Score is 65 to 60. I am currently winning. We're playing to 100. We'll see what happens.
7, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay. And this actually counts as 6.
Oh, so 6, 10, 14, 17.
Yeah. So that's 8, and that's 11. So this is Muggle.
Ah.
It's
All right.
not worth any points. All right. You want to keep playing?
I'm full.
I think we're done for the day. All right.
Yeah.
All good. All right.
My head feels like it got run over.
I believe you. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for watching.
Ooh, that's dirty.
Tully Adventurers, explore.